Hello, hello. Our weekly chat, shall we call it? Thanks for watching. And I'm back. What I wanted to tell or talk about today is first of all, my story about the aliens is getting a lot more elaborate and longer than I actually intended to. It's going somewhat in the direction I wanted to, but it has a lot more storyline than I initially envisioned. So I guess my imagination is still working overtime. Anyway, what I also wanted to talk to you about is that as a writer, I don't know how that other writers do this, but as a writer, I started also reading again. Um, I've read off and on throughout my entire life, but I had stopped reading because there just was no time anymore. Like in the period I was doing more YouTube videos as you decide or on Raphael's World channel, just I was just engrossed in making those videos, and it takes up a lot of time. It takes from an hour to an hour and a half for every minute of video that you see. So it's a lot more elaborate, a lot more work, and I actually stopped reading because of it. But I'd stopped reading before, and I started it up again because I wanna like see other writers' styles and stuff. In the past, I've been reading a lot of Stephen King. I had also I'll be reading a lot of Dinar Koontz, which I am reading right now. A book that I found that I hadn't read yet, and I read a lot of my books, despite the fact that I live in Belgium and that I speak Dutch. I read a lot of books in English, and I wanted to specifically read English books now of writers that write horror, that write fantasy, that write like science fiction. Like to have a sense of uh, the style they use, of the descriptions they put in, the descriptions they don't put in, the way they convey conversations and stuff. Now, I'm not gonna copy any of them, any of those styles, but I need them a bit for inspiration, and I need them also a bit to see how they do it and to compare it with what I do and with how I um, bring my stories to life, actually. Because I was thinking, on the one hand, I have a lot of conversation in my books, and on the other hand, I have like in the beginning of the book, there's a lot of description in it, and then once that description is over, I'm kind of thinking that the readers that are gonna read my books are gonna have that description of, for instance, a room in their head, and when a conversation takes place there in the future, I'm not going to um, waste time describing that room again or pointing out some stuff again. Now, for the house of the therapist Jessie and her husband Mark, we're 5 years in the future from the first time I described the room, so they redecorated. Okay, that I did that to have some description in between the conversation. But the problem that I had was that I was thinking I put a lot of description in a group and then I put a lot of conversation in a group, and is there a way to maybe spread it the over the conversation, like, and basically there is, and basically I kind of played a bit with the options that I have, but I have noticed that like in books of Dino Kunz, he sometimes groups these things together too. For instance, yesterday I read almost a page where he had only conversation between two people, and he just wrote the conversation lines, and he didn't read anything, write anything in between, like she looked at him that way or he reacted that way. He just wrote. That's something I don't think I will ever do. My conversations is oh, she said that, or she uttered that, she retorted, she replied, or he replied, and I have in between things like, and that's what I have a lot. Uh, he frowned. He watched at her in a pensive way. He, she had an annoyed expression on her face. Some those little snippets I put in, which make it maybe make it look more like a script rather than a book. But that's the way I write, and that's the way I like writing, and I like to do it. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. So thanks for watching. I hope you're okay. On this end, everything is fine. If you were wondering about the shoulder, it still hurts in certain positions. I still can't do a lot of things. I can't open my arm. I still can't open my arm because of the tendon they actually removed and then had to reattach. But you know, it's going well, and in the meantime, I can write and catch up on some TV series and movies, um, Hollywood movies or whatever, Netflix, stuff like that. So, see you next time. Be kind to everybody, as I told you, and hope to see you again. Bye.